Hey guys, it's Top 5 here with episode number 2 of the Leicester career mode on FIFA 23. Like I said before, the final FIFA career mode before we move to EAFC 24. Kicking this one off in the Carabao Cup, obviously because we got relegated and because I think it's top 10 teams in the Premier League. I might be completely wrong on that one. But I think top 10 teams in the Premier League all enter in the third round of the Carabao Cup, and obviously all Premier League teams enter in the third round of the FA Cup. That might be completely wrong, but yeah, we have to enter in the first round. We're taking on fellow Championship team Millwall, and this game kind of allowed us to rotate the side up a little bit. We've got Daka in, we've got Jose Perez in, we've got Alex Scott and Fabrizio Diaz in the midfield, and we've also got Dennis Prayet at that attacking midfielder position. A player who I thought was going to leave, but he turned down the contract, so he didn't actually leave. Obviously, we accepted an offer for him. He didn't go. He stayed. The window's still open, so there is a chance he could still leave. But in this one, I want to discuss Leicester, Southampton, and also Leeds, and their chances of coming back up next season in real life. This is because I think of the three teams, Leicester are the most suited to coming back up. I feel like this season was just a whole culmination of terrible things happening to them. They've had injury problems this past few seasons, but he's been able to get them kind of that 5th place, consistently missing out on top 4 on like the final day 2 seasons in a row. But then obviously things like the age of Vardy catching up with him, he's not being able to score as much. Trying to replace him has been difficult. They've tried it with Iheanacho, it's not quite worked out. They tried it with Daka, it's not quite worked out. Selling Fofana, not replacing him in the defence. Selling Kasper Schmeichel, not replacing him in goal. I think that's the most important one. Selling the captain, not replacing him properly with an adequate goalkeeper. That is what I think got them relegated. But I think, like I said, of the 3 teams that went down, they're the most suited to come back up. I believe they're debt-free because of their owner. They've got a brilliant new training ground. Stadium is perfectly fine. I don't think it needs developing. And the squad, they're going to get probably 100 million for Maddison and Barnes. You could say about 100 million probably for the 2 of them. So that's really, really good for that little team. And then Leeds, I don't think they're going to bounce straight back up. I think they might spend a few years in the Championship just because some of the release clauses on some of the contracts that their old director of football put on the contracts. I think it's Robin Koch. I think he can leave for free because they got relegated, I'm pretty sure. Southampton, they might be fine, but again, they seem like they're going to be picked apart, and maybe they won't be able to invest it as well as Leicester can. Speaking of investing, we have just signed the Championship top goal scorer from last season, Chuba Akpom from Middlesbrough. He went and got himself last season, I think it was 28 goals, I think around there, so almost hit that 30 mark. What a player to kind of battle with Jamie Vardy for that striking position. Obviously, we sold Iheanacho. Daka I wasn't the biggest fan of, even though he scored a hat-trick against Millwall. Chuba Akpom I think is going to be a real good striker for us in this Leicester team. And I was speaking about needing an experienced goalkeeper in the previous episode. Last year he went on loan to Manchester United. Didn't quite work out, but he did end up with the Carabao Cup winners medal, even though he was playing for Newcastle at the time. Strange one. It's Martin Dubravka, 33 years of age. We've offered him a 2-year contract, so that's going to be 1 year to get us out of the Championship, 1 year in the Prem, and then hopefully we look to replace him with a more adequate goalkeeper. But he's going to be making his debut as the number 1 against Swansea. Team that they were in the Premier League, it feels like forever ago. It feels like a real long time since they were last in the Premier League. I don't know exactly when it was, but that could be kind of the fate of Southampton, of Leeds, and I think it will be. I think they'll stay down for a while, those 2 teams. Leicester, I think they've just assigned Pep's assistant manager as their permanent manager. They're their first team head coach. So it's Pep Ball in the Championship. We saw what happened with Vincent Kompany with his Burnley team and how that kind of played in the Championship, how well that was. You're probably going to expect the same thing from Leicester. I personally do think they're going to bounce straight back up. As for the teams that came up last season, it was Sheffield, Luton and Burnley. I don't see why Burnley can't stay up the way they played under Vincent Kompany. They've got new investors, and I think they will stay up. Obviously, you've got to be better than 3 teams. It's that simple. To stay up in the Premier League, you have to be better than at least 3 teams. And I think this Burnley team, they're probably better than a few teams that did survive last season. And there's probably a few teams this year who might be having a shaky season. Obviously, I'm going to do my Premier League predictions closer to when the season starts, but I do see Burnley staying up. Luton, that's going to be a tricky one. That could be like a shock surprise they stay up, or it could be like a all-time worst Premier League team ever. I feel it going either one of those ways. And then Sheffield United, they've got experience in the Premier League. It's again whether they can stay up. It's a difficult one, because I think the Premier League right now is the best league in the world. It's the strongest league in the world, team for team. If you kind of had a competition, 20 teams versus 20 teams versus 20 teams versus 20 teams from each of the world's leagues, like first place versus first place, second place, whatever, all the way down to 20th place, I think the Premier League would win most of those games. There might be a here or there, they'll lose. Obviously, who won? Barca versus City. City's winning that. Bayern versus City. Well, first place is easy. City are the best team ever, in my opinion. I'll talk about that in another episode, but here is another signing. He was on the thumbnail. It's Jota from Celtic. He's 23 years of age, coming off the back of 2 10-plus goal, 10-plus assist seasons at Celtic. Bit cheeky to lure him away from Celtic down to the Championship. But again, I think we're Leicester, you know. We're not just any Championship team, we're Leicester. We're guaranteed to get back into the Premier League. We're guaranteed, when we get to the Premier League, I feel like we are pushing for Europa League straight away. It's kind of like when Wolves got promoted. They got promoted, they finished like in the Europa League spots. Bang. They've kind of tailed out recently, but that is what I want to do. Get promoted this season. Next season when we're in the Prem, 6th, 7th, even a 5th at a push, because I'm building the team for it. You know, we're gelling in the Championship, getting that chemistry. We'll sprinkle on some gold dust when we get that Premier League money, and we're pushing for all those spots. But we're coming into this one against QPR at the King Power. It feels like we've played pretty much every game this season at the King Power, but yeah, the home advantage. One of the best leagues in this, I don't know what I'm talking about, one of the best leagues in this competition, I don't know, but one of the best players in this competition is James Maddison, yet to have a formal bid for him from any teams in this career mode. And when we do, I am expecting 50 million plus for him. It's probably going to happen on deadline day. I'm probably going to panic and sign a crappy replacement, but yeah, it is what it is. You might remember in the previous episode I signed Arda Güler, saying he was going to be the replacement for Harvey Barnes. I was looking at it, I was putting him in the team. He's not quite good enough yet. He's 17 years old, you know, he's not going to be quite good enough yet. So the replacement for Harvey Barnes is going to be Jota on that left-hand side. He is insane. From what I've used him in these, I've played next episode as well. He's insane. Absolutely mental player. Maddison, when we replace him, if we replace him, going to be a big player. Probably going to be another unrealistic one, but hopefully we can spend big on a player. Again, like I said, I want 50 million for Maddison. Reinvest some of that into the replacement, and also I want to need to sign some scouts. so we can send some scouts out to England, to Wales, to probably all the home nations right away. And then Premier League obviously will broaden our horizons. We'll send them out to further locations. But yeah, right now we're cruising in the league. We're playing really, really well. This man is playing really, really well. Fabio Carvalho, definitely going to look to put in a official permanent transfer bid for him next season if he continues this form. And I mean, Liverpool only signed him for, I think, like 5 million or something from Fulham because he was on his contract was ending or some shit like that. Surely they'd accept like a 20, 30 million for him. Instant profit. Bish bash bosh. Shake hands with Jurgen. See you later. Thanks for the player. Bang. But speaking of bish bash bosh, I don't know. Chuba Akpom scores on his debut to make it 3-1 against QPR to secure the 3 points against QPR. And I think he's going to be a proper good signing. We are ready for this season. And I want to break Reading's point record. I think it's 105 points. I think Reading set a few years ago, or a couple of years ago. Burnley couldn't break it this season. Reading actually got relegated this season, I'm pretty sure. But we want to break it. And I think we can break it. I think the team is good enough to break that point record. As we come to the final game of the episode, it is going to be a highlights game against Carlisle in the Carabao Cup second round. They're in the league below us. Again, rotate the tied team side. Tied. Vardy up top. 11 minutes in. First goal in the cup for him. It's pretty simple. You know, they're a League One team. We are a Premier League team stuck in the Championship. That's how I would describe ourselves. Vardy steps up with 5 minutes to go on the penalty spot and he dinks it past the keeper. Doubles our lead. Secures us through to the next round of the Cup, where we will play Manchester United. That's going to be in the next episode. But that is it for the gameplay in this one. We'll leave you with the league table after 5 games. 4 wins, 1 draw, 13 points, 11 goals scored, only 3 conceded. We're coming for that record, Reading. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. If you have, please like, subscribe, and peace.